Hi, my name is Saeed Aslam. I hope you know me. I've been conversing with you for the last 11 days on the various issues that we as residents of Wyndham Council face through my YouTube channel. I would like to let you know that I have nominated myself for the upcoming Wyndham Council elections in Harrison Ward. Now, I'm here with a purpose. The purpose of my conversation with you is to try and explain you the importance of voting and also try and give you a clarification in a layman's language, the difference between a formal and an informal vote. Now, how will I do it is I've taken certain examples, 2 examples for a formal vote and 3 examples for an informal vote to try and create the awareness or the knowledge based on my experience or my understanding. Now, this is to the best of my knowledge. What I've done is I've explored and found out extensive data that is available in public domain on Victorian Election Commission website, and this is the historical data that is present on Victorian Election Commission website, and it's accessible to anyone. It just needs the effort and the time that people need to go and search and find that data. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is to create the awareness of importance of voting. If you look at it, these are the 3 different wards that are present or are available in Wyndham Council. Okay. Now, previously Harrison Ward was known as Truganina Ward, and we had Sheffy and we had Iramo. In total, Wyndham Council has 11 councillors. Truganina or Harrison Ward, currently which is known as Harrison Ward, elects 4 councillors. Sheffy elects 4 and Iramo elects 3. Now, the difference between the highlighted yellow lines and the normal lines are the non-highlighted lines are the data which is already previous elections, whereas the yellow highlighted line is predicted data based on previous data. It's pretty simple. Anyone who knows basic mathematics can do it. Now, I've just tried to highlight the importance of voting or the percentage of voting that was done in the past elections. If you look at it, this is 2008, 12 and 16. 2020 is the one which is coming up now. So in 2008, if you go, you had 72% of voter turnout, and Sheffy had 75 and Iramo had 75. And that's I've done that across all the previous elections. The maximum percentage of voting that we ever had was 75%. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a formal vote and an informal vote? Now, the total voter enrollment is the actual number of voters who have enrolled in that particular election year. So that is the total number of ballot papers that come out of Victorian Election Commission going out to all the voters. Now, the total voter turnout is the actual people who fill in and participate in the voting and send their votes. So that is inclusive of both the formal and the informal votes. Now, the formal ballot papers are those ballot papers which are accounted or considered in the quota. An informal ballot paper is one which is like had some mistakes or it's not properly voted. I will explain you further down in the video what is the difference and with the help of examples. Now, the quota is I'll explain you in the next sheet what is a quota. But if you look at the percentage of the informal vote, that's quite high. Almost 17% in the last election, 17% in Sheffy and 10% in Iramo. Now, what I did is if you just go and find out the informal ballot papers, and then if you divide it with the total voter turnout, you will get the informal percentage. Okay, one thing interesting to note is this one. The total number of candidates, if the candidates are increasing, the informal voting percentage increases heavily. So it's simple mathematics. If you go and divide the percentage of informal vote by the number of candidates, you get an increment per candidate increase in informal vote. Like for every candidate, there will be in Harrison, for every additional candidate contesting, there will be a 0.41% of increment of informal votes. Now, I believe it's a responsibility both at the voter end and also at the candidate end, or people who are contesting, to educate their voters. Educate their voters in sense of participating in the election, and at the same time making sure that they are formal votes. So we all need to work together to do two things. One, increase the participation of voters, and two, reduce the informal vote to zero. Now what I'm doing is, to the best of my knowledge, in my capacity, to create that awareness and education. I hope it's making sense to you all. Now, and this data, whatever is here, is available in public domain. These are not my numbers. You just need to put the effort to get into that, make it reasonably good. This sheet is basically to explain you how is a quota calculated. Now, we are going in elections to elect 11 councillors in Wyndham Council, 4 out of Harrison, 4 out of Shafi, and 3 out of Eramo. Now, basically what happens is, this is for, I haven't taken numbers, but I think it's self-explanatory. Now, the total number of ballot papers that come out of Victorian Election Commission are the ones which were enrolled as of 28th of August 2020. Out of the total ballot papers that come out, those people who participate or return the ballot papers, that's the voter turnout. So that's A. Now, of all of them, there are certain informal votes. In the past, that informal vote has been very high. It's been around roughly 16-17% in Harrison and Shafi. So informal votes are those votes which are not valid and which are not accounted in the quota. So the formal ballot papers are the ones which are total ballots which have returned, come back, minus the informal votes, which is C. Now, quota is calculated based on the total number of formal ballot papers divided by number of councillors plus 1. So in Harrison, it will be C by 5. In Shafi, it will be C by 5. Whereas in Eramo, it will be C by 4. So, I wanted to explain you the difference, fundamental difference between a formal and an informal vote in a layman's language, so that everybody understands it without having complex definitions. If you want a realistic definition, as per book, you'll have to go and refer to VEC. Now, what I did is I have taken an example of 16 candidates. Even though I'm contesting, I'm not taking my name. It's, as you can see, without any names. Now, in this particular example, what I tried to explain is how the ballot paper will look. It most probably will look like this. You'll have a unique preference that you need to vote, and you'll have a candidate name, whoever it is. And if you want to make sure that your vote counts, you need to have voted properly, and it should be a formal vote. Now, if you look at it, in this particular candidate, in this particular ballot, we've taken an example. We've got 16 candidates. So you need to make sure whoever your preference is, whether A, B, C, doesn't matter. You got to have them clearly written beside each of the candidate, like whatever your preference is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So each candidate has a unique preference and it's clearly visible. That's how a formal vote is counted. Now this is an example 1. I've done another example just to make it simple. So this is the same thing. You've got another same set of 16 candidates, but a different preference. So if you want to name vote 1 for the second candidate, that's 1, and then you can just number as per your preferences, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on up till 16. Now that's a formal vote. Just to clarify you, I've also given you examples of informal votes. Now I've taken the same set of 16 candidates, and I've tried to explain you what an informal vote is. So over here, if you see, this particular voter has only voted 3 people and left the blank for the other ones. This is an informal vote. This will not even go in the quota. It will not even be considered. Now I've gone and given you another example. Another example is this one, where if you look at it, this voter has done a great job. But unfortunately, he has given 2 preferences, 2 exact same preferences for 2 candidates. That's an informal vote again. So even this vote will not be considered. Now I've given you one more example. This one has done a great job again, but unfortunately has left a couple of boxes empty. Even this is an informal vote. So what I'm trying to do is try and reduce the informal vote to 0. As a voter, as a candidate, my job is to educate and promote formal voting and make as many people as possible to participate in the voting exercise. Now, whoever you're supporting, irrespective of that, if you really want your vote to count, make sure you do it properly. Make sure you have a formal vote for him. The reason I'm showing this maps is I've been speaking to quite a few people in the last month or so. Many people are concerned that they don't know which ward they are. Now you need to understand one thing. You will get the ballot paper for the ward that you are in, whichever ward you are. You'll get exactly the same ballot paper. Now, all this information is available online. But just to make it easy for few people out there who are new voters or new migrants or new residents who come in over here, I just want to make them easy. So this is basically Harrison Ward. So if it goes along the creek. From Dorotheus Road, comes onto Morris Road, then onto the freeway, and then goes through the Aviation Road all the way till the sea. So it covers most of Sanctuary Lakes, Point Cook, Alamanda, Williams Landing, Troganina, and all that Laverton part. Okay. Now, Shafi covers all across from Morris Road and goes to the higher creek up there all the way till Boundary Road and all that. So all this is available online on Wyndham Council website and also on Victorian Election Commission website. But just to make it easier for a few people, and the few people have asked me to do it, I'm just doing it for their help. Now this is Iramo. Iramo is the largest in terms of area, but has the least number of voters. So I hope this helps. I also need to explain you the election timeline. Many people ask me this question and they're quite confused. So the election timeline is the nominations have ended on 12 p.m. 22nd of September 2020. The ballot papers will start releasing from Victorian Election Commission on the 6th of October. So most probably you will get it by 7th or 8th. You will have time up till 23rd of October to fill in your ballot paper and return it to the Victorian Election Commission. And this is one important thing that you need to know. If anyone's traveling overseas due to some compassionate grounds and they have an evidence to prove, they can actually avail the option of early voting. They can call the election manager. For Wyndham Council, it's near Harvey Norman. The address is available on Wyndham Council website. You can call them and request them to have an early voting option so that you have your say and you cast your vote. Now, apart from this, I do speak in 4 different languages, and I'm trying to communicate with all the voters, trying and explaining the same thing in different languages. I speak Urdu, Telugu, English, and Arabic. And if you want to follow me and learn more about my other videos, please follow me on my YouTube channel. And if you want to learn about the same thing in different languages, I'll post my videos there. Thank you very much for sparing the time. I hope it was worth you spending that time on me.